Today I'm going to show you how to coat pipe, or more so, I'm going to show you how to make a jig with some scrap wood and a couple of tricks that will allow you to make accurate and repeatable coats on pipe. So the first thing that we got to do is we have to pick up the halves of the pipe. We have to mark the pipe exactly in half. And there's a couple of different ways to do this. The first way that I'm going to show you here is by using seam tape. So I started off with a very square cut end, and then I'm going to wrap it around the pipe and pick up where the two meet. Then I will mark that off, and then using a square, I'm going to square off that line. Now it's important that you get this highly accurate so that you can get the pipe marked exactly where it needs to be on either side. Once that's done, then we'll take our scissors and we'll cut that line right on the money. And this will pick up the diameter of the pipe. Now once we've done that, we'll double over the seam tape, making sure that we fold it exactly in half. And then we're going to take our scissors and we're going to notch two corners with just a slight notch, and that will allow us to wrap that back around the pipe and then give us a point of reference where we can mark each half of that pipe. This is a method that I use on quartering pipe as well. So if you wanted to quarter pipe, you could just double the tape over one more time and then make those same cuts, and you'd be able to quarter the pipe as well. This is one method. The next method is a little bit easier, or if you're going to be doing repeatable cuts, we're going to take a block of wood, and in my case, I'm going to use a little piece of 4x4. Now, when you cut this, you have to cut it a little bit less than the diameter of the pipe. So in my case, my pipe was inch and 3/4. So I cut this at 13/16, 1/16 under the halfway point. That way, when I go to mark it out, the lead of my pencil will be accurately in the center. Because if I cut it for the if I cut the wood so that it was exactly half the pipe, then my lead would sit up higher than that and my mark would not be accurate. So once we've got this cut, I'm just notching out a little notch in here that is exactly the width of the pipe that I'm going to be using. And then I can slip that over the end and very easily and very accurately mark both sides of that pipe in order to pick up the halfway points. The next step is we're going to cut a piece of wood, in my case 2x6. Now this one has to be exactly the diameter of the pipe. So I'm cutting this at exactly 7/8 of an inch. I'm also cutting two more blocks, in my case 5 inches for each one. Now these blocks later, what I need is for one of these blocks to be removable. We're going to clamp these to the saw itself in order to maintain the distance where the pipe has to be set, and I'll show you how that's done here in just a minute. So now that we've got our wood cut, now we have our marks picked up, so we could take any kind of structural steel, whether that be light gauge, a small angle, or you can use channel iron, and we want to extend the marks that we made on our pipe so that they run down the entire length of the pipe. That's going to be our reference, so when we go to spin the pipe, we want to start out exactly on one point, and then we're going to rotate it for the other side as well. Now we're going to move our saw over. I set mine at 33 degrees. You could probably go just a touch more. Anywhere between 33 and 34 degrees is pretty accurate. Now we're not going to cut the pipe exactly to a point. So I'm going to make two marks, 3/16 off the center on either side. And that's going to be where we want our saw blade to actually cut to, because we want to leave the front part of that flat. It just makes a better coat. So now that we've got all of that ready, we can take the block that we cut, the diameter of the pipe, and we can clamp it to the fence on our saw. I'm clamping this so that it's just slightly above the pipe. That way when I get done, the pipe will easily slide back and forth for the next pipe to go in. Now that I've set it up, we want to make sure that it is accurately in the center line and that our saw blade passes right on our 3/16 point. And now we can make the first cut. Now, before we unclamp this, what we want to do is we want to take the two 5-inch pieces that we cut, and we're going to clamp those up so that they butt up against the face of that pipe. Now, the reason I cut them in two pieces is because the back one is going to remain, and the front one we're only going to put in there when we're setting the pipe against it. We need to get that portion out of the way when we go to cut with the saw. So now we're going to rotate the pipe 180 degrees, put it right on that mark, get rid of our front block, and now we can make the second cut. Once this cut is made, that is the end of the cope, and it's pretty easy. And from this point, you can very easily repeat this process, and on your next pieces, all you have to do is mark the two center points. So you have to mark each side of the pipe, and then with your angle iron or channel iron, extend that line so that you know exactly how far or how much to spin the pipe. And yeah, as you can see, I could have gone a little bit more. I went 33 degrees, like I said. I could have went 34 because I have just a slight little rattle in the pipe. If I had went another half degree, that probably would have been perfect. But this is a way that you can very accurately and repeatedly make copes on tubing or pipe. My name is Ben. I appreciate you taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next one.